Thank you, Laura. Now, rumours are again swirling that the royal rift is growing between Prince William and Harry after the brothers appeared separately at an event in honour of their late mother, Princess Diana.
So William spoke in person at the Diana Legacy Awards last night, and Harry later joined via video call, but only after his older brother had left the ceremony. The pair have been distancing themselves from each other in recent months, but is the relationship beyond repair? Well, joining us now to discuss is the Sun's former royal editor, Duncan Larkham, and biographer, Ingrid Seward. Good to see both of you this morning, I should say. Duncan, you know, it was hard for both brothers. We know how much they both loved their mother, but I guess people that want to see them happy again would have loved to have seen something in one or other of their messages, or if they could have been one abroad and one here at the same time. And it felt like a conscious decision to avoid that at the ceremony.
It was one of the most extraordinary sort of royal engagements, if you like, ever come across. I mean, not only, as you say, was Harry coming in via video link, but only after his brother had left the ceremony. That's how much William doesn't want to be associated with Harry at all. And this rift, unfortunately, seems to have, if anything, deepened in the last few months rather than started to get better.
And to the point where it's irretrievable, in your view?
I don't think you can ever say ever. I mean, let's not forget, Camilla was once public enemy #1 and hated nationally. She's now our queen and people love her. So things can change in the royal family, but it's hard. The death of their grandfather didn't bring them together. The death of their grandmother didn't bring them together. The coronation didn't bring them together. And now even their mother's legacy can't bring them together. So you wonder what on earth it would take.
Ingrid Seward is with us as well. Ingrid, I mean, a lot of people will say, look, families, they all have differences, they have arguments, brothers, siblings. I've had arguments with my brother over the years. Isn't it just normal? Why does any of this really matter? And why does it matter to us?
Well, I think it matters, really, because of Diana's memory. I mean, she famously said to her boys, please, whatever ever happens in life, always remain great friends with each other. And that's exactly where it's gone wrong. But I think Harry and William and Kate were like a trio before. And then another person comes in and it upsets the balance. So other girlfriends of Harry's, it kind of worked, but it didn't work with Meghan. And that upset the balance. And I think that's when things really started to go wrong. And they've got worse and worse ever since, sort of culminating in Harry's very unpleasant remarks when he was publicising his book and also in his book. So I feel it is quite irretrievable at the moment. And there's no time. Having a rapprochement with somebody like that, it's fine if you've got the time, but they don't really see each other. They live 5,000 miles apart. And when are they going to have the time? Obviously, when they meet, they're not going to snarl at each other, but there's not going to be that moment to say, come on, old boy, let's have a chat. It's a really difficult thing to say. It's got to happen naturally, and it hasn't.
Which we don't like to think about, do we? We don't want that, and we all can imagine, you know, Diana would have been the last thing that she wanted. But how else, given that there is that rift, could they have handled last night's event?
Well, I think they could have... They've done it together before, but because of the timing, what happened was William gave the prizes to the winners and had a little chat with them, and then he left. 3 hours later, after they'd had a sort of celebratory gala dinner, Harry came by a video link, and they were all sitting round a table, and he chatted with them all for about half an hour. So, ostensibly, you know, William does the serious bit, Harry does the jolly bit. It should have worked. But, of course, the story we all latch onto is they can't even be together via video link. And they must have known that's the story that would come out this morning.
OK. Ingrid, thanks. I mean, you know, we don't know the truth about that. Really, it's between them two. There's another story this week, a royal story about this photo. Now, from a PR point of view, it's been a pretty much a disaster for Kensington Palace, for the royals, Kate at the centre of it. What do you think we've learnt from it, if anything? And what do you think the real consequence of this event is?
Well, I think Kate has certainly learnt not to play around with Photoshop anymore and pictures. I don't think... it has been a media storm, but I think that Kate's popularity is so high amongst the British public. I mean, she's still recuperating from what must have been a very serious operation. I don't think there's going to be lasting reputational damage to Kate, and the fact that she issued an apology quickly and said she was just like any other amateur photographer, which of course she's not. But I think the public are quite forgiving of Kate and will wish her the best.
Ingrid, what do you think? I mean, obviously, I think that, you know, the popularity of Catherine is huge and the support there is huge. Is it something to do with a kind of vacuum of information that because she is so popular, people start to wonder what is happening because the information given is limited?
I think I agree with you up to a point, but I think the sad thing here is that the palace should have known that this social media is so powerful and, as everybody knows, so unpleasant. They should have known that this could have happened. That's what they're paid to do. And I feel that the buck stops with them. And they should have said to Kate, ma'am, have you altered this picture in any shape or form? Because there's a lot of trolls out there. Social media dissects everything. And if you have, please tell us and let us have the original. That would have avoided all this trouble, quite simply. So I'm afraid I blame them. And I think that she probably, if she wasn't such a nice person, would blame them too. I'm sure William is not very happy with his office at the moment.
Ingrid, in the end, yes, I mean, I'm not speaking on behalf of the staff, I don't know them, but you know, Kate is the boss. I mean, they are senior royals. It might be very difficult for staff to question whether she's photoshopped a photo or not, or have that kind of conversation. The fact is that Kate and William are going to be at the very top of this royal family in the not-too-distant future. Do they need to get better on how they project their public profile and their relationship with the British population?
I think they probably need to be able to embrace social media, which is going to be the future, completely going to be the future for them, not as an enemy, but as a friend, and look at it all completely differently. And I think they do need to alter a bit. I mean, you know, never explain, never complain just doesn't work anymore. And they realise that. And I think also, as you said earlier, people are probably a little nervous to approach them and criticise them, people that are paid to work for them. But I think they've got to get over that. And all this bowing and scraping doesn't work. It's got to be direct confrontation. Ma'am, this isn't going to work. It's got to be that because of the way the world is now.
OK. Ingrid Stewart, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And thank you. Well, this conversation, the conspiracy theories, I suspect, will roll on for quite some time to come, I think.
Yes, I think until we know what sort of surgery Kate has and until we know that she's back doing work and being visible, I think there'll be continued speculation.
And you do wonder, like Ingrid said, whether the real solution to this is a real honesty and a real transparency as a way forward for the royal family now. I
think Ingrid's absolutely right. The mantra of never complain, never explain, that was pre-social media, internet age.
OK.
Oh, my goodness. Well, thank you very much indeed to both of you.